The Local Fixer. How one man revived a dying American town. Liam Hayes made his fortune in the relentless, high-stakes world of urban commercial real estate in Phoenix. At 48, he was wealthy, successful, and thoroughly burnt out. He had spent 2 decades building glass towers and maximizing profit per square foot. He was a master of efficiency, but he realized his legacy was just more concrete. A sudden heart scare, a sharp reminder of his own mortality, forced him to slow down. That break led him back to a place he hadn't thought about in 20 years. Havenwood, Ohio, a small, forgotten town deep in the Rust Belt where his grandfather used to live. Havenwood was a ghost town draped in nostalgia. The main street was lined with beautiful, crumbling brick buildings, victims of economic flight and neglect. The centerpiece, the old Havenwood Theater, a gorgeous Deco-era building, was boarded up, its marquee hanging broken. The prevailing mood was quiet resignation. Liam didn't plan to stay, but when he saw the hope drain from the eyes of a local teenager trying to sell handmade pottery from a card table, something shifted. He saw not decaying property, but untapped potential and a community starved for a spark. He decided to apply his billionaire-level expertise not to maximum profit, but to maximum purpose. His first and most audacious goal was simple: reopen the Havenwood Theater. The locals were deeply skeptical. "It's been closed for 30 years, Liam." "We've tried," said Ruth, the owner of the only remaining cafe, her voice heavy with the town's collective fatigue. Liam's approach wasn't to write a massive check. It was to utilize his local fixer expertise. He spent weeks drinking Ruth's bitter coffee, listening. He realized the problem wasn't money. It was inertia and a lack of vision. He bought the old theater for a symbolic $1 and declared a community build initiative. He didn't hire outside contractors. Instead, he leveraged local talent. He convinced a retired high school shop teacher, Mr. Jenkins, to lead the carpentry. He negotiated with the owner of the local hardware store to supply materials on a deferred payment plan. And most importantly, he offered ownership. Every volunteer would get a small, symbolic share in the revitalized building's operating profit. The work was grueling. Liam, the man who used to bark orders from a leather chair, found himself tearing out moldy seats, hauling drywall, and learning to patch plaster alongside Mr. Jenkins and the local kids, including the pottery seller, who started designing the lobby art. The transformation was slow, sweaty, and miraculous. As they worked, the building itself seemed to breathe life back into the town. The sight of lights and activity in the old theater inspired others. The barber next door started fixing his peeling sign. Ruth's cafe extended its hours. When the grand reopening arrived, Havenwood was unrecognizable. The old marquee glowed, the theater seats were refinished, and the lobby shimmered with local art. The first event wasn't a movie, but a town hall, a place for locals to celebrate and, crucially, to plan the next steps for the main street's revival. Liam, standing in the back, watching the townspeople fill the seats, felt a satisfaction he'd never known closing a 9-figure deal. That night, the applause wasn't for his bank account. It was for the resurrected spirit of Havenwood. He didn't stop there. He used the theater as a hub, creating a low-interest microloan fund using his own money to help locals open new businesses in the empty storefronts. He turned the old, abandoned bank building into a community library and co-working space, powered by local solar panels. Liam Hayes didn't just invest in property. He invested in dignity. He proved that the American dream wasn't just about escaping your roots to build a personal empire. Sometimes, the most meaningful victory is returning to those roots and using your greatest skills, vision, negotiation, and sheer stubbornness, to build a lasting legacy that truly belongs to everyone. He had traded the anonymity of the skyscraper for the enduring pride of being the local fixer.